but we're looking forward to hearing from all of them. And the first is Judge Najla Ayoubi, who is a lawyer and former judge and has extensive experience in the judiciary, elections, human rights and women's empowerment. She is a civil society and women human rights activist, and in her current role as Chief of Coalition and Global Programs at Every Woman Treaty, she's working actively with more than 3,800 frontline activists in 147 countries around the globe. She served as the Deputy Country Representative of the Asia Foundations in Afghanistan and has served in numerous roles in civil society and government, and is a founding and global executive board member of the Women's Regional Network. She holds 2 master's degrees from the Law School of Tajikistan, State University, and in post-war recovery and development studies from the University of York in the UK. The Judge Ayoubi, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I think I may emphasize on some of the points that both ambassadors mentioned, but I would like to start with particularly that the points that since the fall of Kabul, women's rights and girls have been systematically violated, because this is specific to particularly women and girls. Women and girls have been prohibited to work outside of their home, and particularly the very specific groups have the right to work, particularly the limited number of professions, particularly the medical professions. Violence against women has been raised in the country, particularly domestic violence, forced marriage, child marriage, and even the women and girls have been sold to feed the rest of the family, particularly in the poorer communities. Security is another issue for women in a big challenge. Particularly their movement have been controlled and watched by the authorities, and also the fathers and the brothers, husbands and sons were also being punished because of the women, unfortunately based the rules that the Taliban putting, not following those rules. So women protesters have been arrested, they have been put in jails and have been tortured, and even their families were tortured because of they have raised their voice to for their basic rights in the country. Women-led organizations have been told to not have a woman at the head of the organization, and even they removed from the leadership positions at the non-governmental organizations, and they have been replaced by their male colleagues. Restrictions have been on journalists, on media. Most of the journalists have been tortured, have been disappeared, particularly women. When I'm putting all of these are women and girls. So unfortunately, women who are facing violence, there is no agency, there is no place to go for them. And even I just heard from one of my colleagues here that the women who have been victim of violence and domestic violence in their home, and she went to the Taliban authorities to complain, but unfortunately she was arrested. Because you can imagine, even the woman cannot go to the authorities. So basically, what I'm just bringing here, that most of the supporters that the international community, particularly on the humanitarian work, unfortunately, the women have been left out. Even humanitarian support and aid are not reaching to the women and girls in the country. So my point is basically the consequences is not only in Afghanistan. I'm just bringing the attention of you, everybody, that this policy will be mirrored by neighboring countries, will be mirrored by the conservative governments around the world. And they will be, we are encouraging the terrorism, encouraging the bad policies, encouraging the bad systems. And also, my recommendation, I know my time is limited. My recommendation is to, we're also hearing about the engagement, how we can engage with the Taliban. We have to engage with the Taliban. But this has to be, even if the engagement happening since it is more than 2 years, 2.5 years, almost 2.5 years, we are there were different levels of engagement, but unfortunately, these are not formal, these are not structured, these are not proper. So where is the woman sitting? Where are the women? My recommendations will be recognition of the gender apartheid, particularly we are talking about women, at the global system. And also, I would like to also, another piece that's it's really important for us and particularly will definitely benefit Afghan women, to have a call for the binding framework at the global level on the new optional protocol to CEDAW, ending violence against women. That will definitely not only benefit for Afghanistan, but also our neighboring countries where all of us are have been affected by all of these disasters. So I will stop here, and I will. I hope I'm on time. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. That is a very succinct but accurate picture of the current situation facing women and girls in Afghanistan. And thank you for recommendations, because I think that's the most helpful.